You're seeing pastors not just focusing on their own churches or their own to-do lists or their own whatever it may be, but coming together and thinking together, and in blessing one another and in blessing other pastors, you are uniting together this, I don't know if network is the right word, but you're seeing just this web of individuals and of pastors and of churches coming together, making a difference outside of themselves and outside of their own congregations. It's a move.
I'll never fully comprehend how deep your love burns for me. How deep your love burns.
My brother, you desperately need, if you are like me, then you desperately need deep friendships in an atmosphere of trust, where the stakes are low, but at the same time the trust and the love is high. I feel like 67 has given me the platform to open up my heart without much fear of retaliation or shame, but with the great expectation for health. For me, my life, my family, my marriage, and also all the way down to congregation, the neighborhood where God has called me to be.
Tonight, your hand has held me up again, so set this heart on fire. I'll never fully comprehend how deep your love burns for me.
Sometimes the pastor becomes so transparent, you even see tears. You see the emotional side of them. You see even to the point where they begin to strip away the layers from the problems they've had before, and what they could not possibly tell their wives, and tell their congregants, tell their other prayer partners, even in church, tell their deacon and other prayer partners outside of that. They're with other men who see the same challenges, but when an emotional plea comes in place, it becomes plausible to see men being who they really are, and then they say to themselves, I am just as frail as anybody else is, and I need Christ just as much.
And faith, well done, good and faithful.
I know what it means when you think that nobody understands you. I know what it means to want a friend. I've been there, but I know what it means to find those things. I know what it means when God answers prayers. I remember God asking, God, send me a friend. A couple months later, I was involved in 67, and I found not only friends, not only men of God, but I found brothers that I found brothers that help me, lift me up, encourage me, guide me, rebuke me, challenge me, help me. I have found people that without touch me, they help me to become the man that God has called me to be. You're not alone. You don't need to be alone. Get involved in 67 for the sake of your church, for the sake of your marriage, for the sake of your health, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. 67 is what you've been praying for.
When no one is there to listen, you'll be there to say it was worth it all.
If you're honest with yourself, pastor, when you are in the trenches of your local church ministry, you can get narrow-minded. Your focus can be tunnel vision because of the needs that are right in front of you. And if you stay there and you are isolated, you will become unhealthy, and you may do harm to yourself and harm to your congregation. 67 is a way for you to step outside the confines of your own local ministry, to get the perspective of other men who can relate to your struggles, but who come from a different background, a different ministry context, with the same heart for God and for people. And this group of men can sharpen you, encourage you, refresh you, so that you will be healthy in your own soul, in your own marriage, and the overflow of that will pour out into your ministry.
Okay, well now I'd like to introduce Henry Kim, pastor at First Presbyterian Church in Downers Grove, so he can tell you what it's like to have been part of a group as a pastor, and Henry is also involved in our pastoral advisory team.
Thank you. Just a little quick background about me. I'm 5th generation ministry, so you can understand why I'm in desperate need of help. So I'm a 4th generation PK. More than that, I ran as far and as wide away from ministry as possible. I spent 12 years in the military as an officer. I got my undergraduate in engineering and political science and journalism. Got an MBA from University of Michigan, and I'm a professional engineer. Don't even start. I played for Indiana baseball and was on the basketball manager. So my heart lies in southern Indiana, actually, for sports. But I guess I can't wear blue, but I do anyway. But I kid. But I love 67 because, and I take a lot of time away from my other ministry because I was longing for something. Most of you are leaders in your industry, and one advantage and one thing leaders have is they are alone so often. But what's nice about business professionals is you have associations, you have groups like this, you have accountability through a chain of command kind of thing. But for us, as pastors, you are on an island all by yourself, and you are put on a pedestal, but the pedestal is awfully high. And that also just detaches you from those around you. And you try to live up to the expectations of the people, and often you forget that you are human. We don't have the people in the chariot, like the Roman generals did, telling you you're merely human, and that you are flawed. And you forget, even while you're in the midst of pain and suffering, even when you're being burnt out, there aren't a lot of people around you. One of the things I missed desperately after I left the military, because I got to tell you, I love the military. What other job in the world gives you the opportunity to blow things up and see the world? So for a guy, it's great. And it's challenging, and it's pure leadership, and you get to mold people. And unlike the ministry, I have coercive power. I take away the money, the freedom, and their very will to live sometimes. But you can't do that as a pastor. But the flip side of it is you live in such camaraderie with the people around you, even as a leader. As a military leader, I had mentors, I had peers, and we were, to use that phrase, a band of brothers who die for each other. So going to ministry when you're all alone with the same challenges, the same stresses in many ways as a military leader, it's hard. Because not only are lives on the line, more importantly, their eternal lives on the line. So without the network of others to help you, to hold you to a higher standard, but also to provide feedback, honesty, where you can just, as my friend said up there, open and bare your heart in a way that you can't to your congregation or even to your wives or anyone else. Because I've been in a group for about 1.5 years, and in that group we've challenged each other, we've pushed each other, we've been bare to each other, and I got to say it's one of the most impactful things that I've ever been a part of. And as you all know, that means in business it's all about leverage, making a little do a lot more. And I think 67 is such a high priority for me, and I took more time out to become part of the leadership team because we make the most impact in our churches by making sure that our leaders are healthy. And one of the primary ways to do that is in these groups. And we need someone like Bob and Paul and others to come in. Nell's my moderator, comes in and sacrifices 4 or 5 hours or more of his time every month just by sitting in and helping us talk and being kind of a neutral party. But also, more importantly, he sees the value in it. I know that if those who get involved see the high value in it. And in a second, you'll see Vince. I met Vince 5 seconds ago. But Vince, who's a moderator, can tell you more about that.
Great, thanks. So as a business owner, we had talked about tithing of time. And, that probably is the thing that as a business owner, You can give money to organizations. You can certainly get involved. Myself as a business owner saying, Lord, where can I tithe my time? Where can I give the biggest impact of my time? And when you know your pastor, or if you're a part of a church where there's been a pastor falls in whatever way, in the fallout that happens from a church when the leader falls. I was a part of seeing that from a distance in the church, growing up in the church. That just crushes so many people, and so many lives are shattered from that. So when I was approached to be a moderator and give my time to just help pastors, we call it roping in, trying to lasso cats, to get them together, to get their schedules together so they can talk in a safe environment. As a moderator, as a business owner, we have everything under control, and we want to do all the talking and sharing. In a moderator meeting, as we moderate, the pastors do all the talking. As a business guy, you show up, you make sure you start on time, you make sure you end on time, and you make sure that there's an agenda of discussion and going deeper. And it's just a tremendous blessing. I would encourage you, our big question for 67 is, how do we get more business guys to say, hey, I'm going to tithe about 6 hours a month, and get pastors and leaders as pastors together to start opening up and getting healthy. We want to see pastors have a wellness in their soul so they can serve and lead their congregations and bring more glory to God. 67 is based on Psalm 67. May God be gracious to us and bless us and make his face shine upon us, so that your ways may be known on earth, your salvation to all generations. That's what we hope through 67. Thank you.